And I ask the man of the hour to come forward, stand right up here, Detective Brian Farrell. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here for Brian, for this department, as we celebrate a long and great career of Detective Brian Farrell, badge number 148, who'll be retiring today. So I want to first, as I said, welcome everybody. I see there's some other agencies that are here, friends and relationships that Brian has forged throughout his long career here and successful career. In a special way, I want to welcome, though, his family, you guys, especially Pauline, the boys, Cole and Gavin, his mom. I know we're waiting. Glad you're here, Miss Farrell. Good to see you again. And his brother Casey, who flew out here from California for this special occasion. So I know that is how important that is for Brian, that all of you are here. And I can tell you, so one of the traditions we have here is that we go out to lunch. You know, I always take the retiring officer out to lunch, and you know, Brian and I have known each other a long time. We're one of the old guys here. We have relationship as everybody else has been retiring. It gets difficult for me because a lot of the young guys don't know how I was when we were young and things that we did and things. And but it's wonderful for me always to see how everybody grows over the courses of our careers. I mean, it becomes common knowledge. So, you know, and Brian was talking about how wonderful his family was and how much, you know, how important it was that the success of you guys were to him. So I just wanted you to know that, and I'll touch a little bit more on that as we go. But first, let's start it off. Monsignor Manny, if you could come forward. Start us off with a prayer and thanksgiving for Brian's long career here at the Gloucester Township Police Department.
First, I'll apologize for the prayer.
Just keep it short, pal, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I spent time on this. I'm sorry. Because the more I studied your background, the more I realized there's an incredible connection with the Great Depression of the last century. And this is why. In the Depression years ago, 1930s, millions of Americans were out of work. Many thousands were hungry. In a number of cities, religious groups set up bread lines to feed the hungry. One of these was a monastery in Cincinnati. Every evening, the friars, lay volunteers, prepared and gave a nourished sandwich of bread and meat to hundreds of hungry men and women. Interesting to note the reactions of the recipients. Many accepted the well-prepared and well-wrapped food with a smile and a thank you. Others, with heads hanging, embarrassed, snatched the food package and shuffled off. Some tore the bag at one end and started eating as they hurried away. Most of them ate every last crumb after a silent prayer and put the wrapping into a nearby container. Though some would eat only the meat and discard the bread on the roadside. A few discontented ones opened the package and then threw the entire contents away in protest. This struck me because when I thought of Brian's career, patrol officer, D.A.R.E officer, FBI internet crimes, crisis negotiation, criminal investigation, it seemed to me that your experiences included reactions not unlike those of the bread lines of almost 100 years ago. For hunger comes in many forms and reactions in many ways, from fear and loneliness to aggression and violence. Aware of this history, how we look at someone in terms of law enforcement, but we see the humanitarian and spiritual realities under it that are crucial to be a good law enforcement officer. Let us pray. May Detective Farrell's future commitments and endeavors afford him the opportunities to continue to utilize the talents and gifts that he defined and refined in his past as listener, observer, responder, protector, supporter. For many other fields of service and commitment in this fractured world need the sensitivity and awareness that he has expressed in his career, coming across many types of needs, hurts, struggles, lives of so many. Again, not unlike the bread lines of the 1930s. For so many are not aware of the bread they really need, not just the bread for the body, but bread as well for mind, soul, spirit, and heart. For when men don't worship God, they worship each other. Men don't worship God, they worship each other. These talents encompass the gifts of concern, compassion, conviction, selflessness, all known strengths of Detective Farrell. So may they continue to be shared with others as Brian seeks to act justly, love tenderly, walk humbly with his God. Amen.
Amen.
Congratulations. Not short, but meaningful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monsignor. And that's Monsignor Mannion, our one of our police chaplains here. We appreciate his time. A couple more other acknowledgements joining me up here. Mayor David Mayer, always, it's a big deal for the mayor, make sure he's there, and we appreciate the support we get. Deputy Chief Manazzi is here with me. Deputy Chief Brian McKendry was unable to attend today. He has taken care of some family. His father's having some procedures, so I just want to acknowledge he sends his best wishes. Also, Chief Harry Earl, retired Chief Harry Earl is here in the audience. Great to see him come back. And I saw Deputy Chief Tom Reinhold from the Evesham Township Police Department, certainly a friend of Brian's, and Lieutenant Matt Washnak here is from Camden County Prosecutor's Office, if I miss anybody, but that's just an acknowledgement of, and I think you'll see why in a minute, as I go through Brian's long and illustrious career here at Gloucester Township Police. I started to say about how important it is for family, and you know, some of what Brian and I talked about at lunch the other day really struck a nerve with me, and it was sincere. We were talking about, you know, how's things going, improvements, things I always like to get good honest feedback from people that I trust, people that are retiring, and he certainly gives me that, but we kept going back to family, you know, and I think Brian, you know, had said it to me, and, you know, I understood it, that, you know, we get so enveloped in our police jobs, it becomes part of who we are, down to our DNA, to our core, and even talking to him today when we were having lunch as a group at the FOP hall, you know, there's that concern about this change. As much as, you know, I think Brian used the words, you know, we enjoy the chase, the adrenaline, if you will, of the success of an investigation, and certainly Brian's had many that he's had brought a lot of justice to a lot of people that were crime victims throughout his career. But it was about his family and some of the regrets that we sometimes may have, that he may have missed something, and how if he said it once, I think he said it 3 times, how much that he gives credit to Pauline for the success of his 2 boys. You know, Gavin Cole, we've heard about, you know, we followed your lacrosse endeavors and things so much so that, you know, he became a lacrosse referee, you know, to stay closer with that. And, you know, I was talking to a proud dad, I could tell you. He was so proud, you know, of Cole, you know, your acceptance into the ROTC. We talked about that at the University of Tampa. And Gavin, I'm hearing you're going to follow that, maybe, going down to the University of Tampa. So, you know, but he was just beaming about how proud he was of you guys. And Pauline, again, as the police chief, as somebody who's worked here, and I speak for our families don't get the recognition. We don't, it's not always on the top when we're going through cases. Brian spending such a great long deal of his career being a detective, being on call, But even if he's not on call, in the case that he's handled, something pops up, taking those phone calls, taking that time away from the family. So on behalf of everybody here at Gloucester Township Police Department, that's why we say you're part of the family, you'll still be part of the family, but we appreciate all that you've done. This retirement is just as much for you as it is for Brian, even though he's getting all the accolades. So thank you for everything that you've supported him. Again, I'll go through Brian's career here, which is an outstanding career. Brian, as we'd say, is leaving here with the reputation of being a good cop. And that's really, we talk about that, that's really that's really all we want anybody to ever say about us when we're going. He was a good cop. He or she was a good cop. They did their duties, they did their things, and we all know what that means with somebody who was considered a good cop, and Brian certainly fit that criteria. He started his career in law enforcement as a corrections officer for the New Jersey Department of Corrections on March 1st, 1997. He was hired with the Gloucester Township Police Department on August 17, 1998, and was a graduate of the 29th class of the Camden County Police Academy. Earlier in his career, Detective Farrell served as a patrol officer, a shift investigator, and he was one of our first full-time D.A.R.E instructors in our schools. On September 1st, 2010, he was assigned as a detective in the Juvenile Investigation Unit of our Juvenile Family Services Bureau. He represented the Gloucester Township Police Department as a member of the Camden County Child Abduction Response Team, which is known as the CART team. He was also served a stint as a temporary county investigator when he was assigned to the Camden County Prosecutor's Office High-Tech Crime Unit from April 15, 2018 until November 15, 2018. And while he served as a juvenile detective, Detective Farrell also served with one of our first officers that was assigned to the FBI Internet Crimes Against Children, ICAC, as we call it here, task force. During this very noble, but it's a very difficult assignment, Detective Farrell was tasked with protecting children from investigating child predators. And he's exposed to a lot of different things that aren't pleasant to be seen. And we knew when we were choosing that detective how important it was for the right person to be in that position, because you have to be able to let it go and stay even-tempered. Again, this was a special assignment for us, and Brian was chosen because he had already proven himself with outstanding capabilities and investigative skills. And he was instrumental in many arrests and prosecutions, not only here in Gloucester Township. There was quite a few of those, but these crimes span across the country, sometimes even internationally. And Brian was involved with many investigations that took down a lot of bad guys, I'll leave it at that, throughout the course of his career. He protected a lot of children by doing what he did, and did it so well. I've had a good relationship with Brian also, as far as he's been a negotiator on our crisis negotiations team since 2010. So during many critical incidents, we were out in the middle of the night, during the day, whatever, whether I was in command or back, when I was still with SWAT, and we build up that trust and that relationship about when he's negotiating with someone who's barricaded. And he's utilized his skills. Some of his strongest points that his supervisors, and we all have known that have worked with him, when he is focused in on an investigation, is that he's a good listener. I don't know if he's a good listener for you guys, but and a communicator. And we talked about that the other day. They were great skills, and these are skills that we've had him try to pass on to younger officers, how important that is. And I've seen it in action where he has used those skills to resolve several people that were either in crisis or criminals that were barricaded, and without injury to them, brought them out peacefully. And that is it's not an easy thing to do, but Brian did it very well. On January 4th, 2021, he switched his detective assignment to the Criminal Investigations Unit of our Investigation Bureau, where he served up just till today on his last day. He again excelled at that, handling different kinds of cases. Most of his career he's had an invested interest in protecting and investigating juvenile-related crimes. I've often said that the Gloucester Township Police Department has the best detectives in the business. And I mean that sincerely. I tell people that. The detectives, I think, have heard me say that. I'd say it to anybody that'll listen. And I've told many that if my family was a victim of a crime, I would want those guys and girls that wear the detective badge here at Gloucester Township Police to investigate it, because I know how good they are. And I would put them up against any other agency, state, federal, county, whatever. These guys live their cases, they take it very serious, they put a lot into their efforts into that training. And Brian was one of those detectives. Like I said, I've worked with him on many incidents, and I came to trust his instincts and his abilities. When we were briefing about a serious investigation, if Brian said, hey, let's try this, or I think we should go out there, as commanders, we listened and took that advice that led to many positive outcomes on investigations. He's been described, I read through some of his evaluations, and they were all excellent. They were described by his supervisors and peers as the go-to detective. And that means something. These detectives here know what that means. That means that they have a question about something, or they're stuck with an interview or need a way to go, they go to the go-to detective. And Brian fit that category. Meant he earned the reputation among his fellow detectives, which I think is probably the highest, even more so than me, regards of what he wanted to be as a detective. He was involved in so many high-profile investigations. The most recent, probably largest profile, was the arson at the Howard Johnson's Hotel. That was a long, drawn-out, and very difficult investigation. Arsons typically are. And he worked so diligently to develop a suspect, and for him to obtain a confession which resulted in the arrest of someone was truly an outstanding example of the police work that Brian's done over the years. Detective Farrell has also been in so many big and not so big investigations. It wasn't only the ones that caught the headlines that he would put his heart and soul into. It was all kinds of investigations, especially when it came to juvenile crimes or victims or whatnot. I knew he took it home with him. I knew he worked on them. I knew that he worried about them and wanted to see a positive outcome. And he's a great example to all the officers that are here, especially younger officers, is how to learn and get the job done. Over the course of his career, he's been awarded 13 Distinguished Unit Citations. Of course, that goes to show what a team player that he was over the course of his career. And an amazing number, 9 Merit Awards. The Merit Award here, for those that don't know, the Gloucester Township Police Department is a very difficult award to achieve. And he's been put in for these awards, and they're voted on by an awards committee with the approval of the chief. And to get 9 of them just as a testimony as to how many investigations he's had input on and solved. He's had 11 outstanding police work letters, and he has 8 police service citations. In addition, he's also received awards from his peers, which is the greatest attribute, the greatest sign of respect. His peers in the Camden County Detectives Association, he's received numerous awards over the years. Detective Farrell was nominated for Police Officer of the Year 3 times over the course of his career, in 2008, in 2014, and he was awarded the prestigious Police Officer of the Year for the Gloucester Township Police Department in 2021. Again, I could probably go on and on about Brian's career, about his family, about everything, but I think I'll wrap it up and just say that I am proud to have served with him. I appreciate, and I always appreciated, his candor with me and his respectfulness to me, even in disagreements. But I always knew that at the heart of the matter, even if we disagreed on something, that his heart was in the right place as far as an investigation having a good outcome. And again, he's one of the detectives that if it was me that was a victim of a crime or a family member, I would want Brian Farrell's name to be up on call because I know what he would put into the investigation. So Brian, I want to congratulate you on such a successful career. Your expertise, your experience, and your personality here in the police department will definitely be missed. And I appreciate all that you've done for us, and we're going to miss you, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. Brian, do I have to be short and sweet, or can I actually say a few words?
You're the mayor.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but Monsignor Mannion knows people in higher places than I do, so you can talk as long as you want.
That won't
Monsignor.
affect you till the after my job.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Monsignor Mannion and Chief Earl, and ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Brian, first let me congratulate you on a long and distinguished career. You know, the chief went through your career and you know, starting as D.A.R.E officer, and then of course negotiations team, and in 2010 being a detective within the juvenile unit, when I think that's when we first reorganized the unit, and so you led really our efforts of changing how we police here in Gloucester Township, and so that's quite an accomplishment. And as the chief was talking, and he mentioned something that I really want to focus on, because I think your greatest accomplishment throughout your career is that you have brought justice to so many people that it's remarkable. And I think as you look back on your career, I hope that just really stands out in your mind, and the difference that you made. So congratulations on your career, and thank you. Thank you for serving the residents of Gloucester Township, and thank you for the relationship that we've had, whether it was our communications with the FOP or it's through through the department. Thank you for that, and I want to thank Pauline and your sons. Thanks for sharing him with us. But thank you for you know, allowing him to take time away from you to give to other families in this community. So I appreciate that. Now, Pauline, you do know he's going to be like around all the time.
Good luck.
Are you aware of that? Did that come to the reality? Okay, so
He's got one night that he has to go get another job.
There you go. But no, Brian, congratulations on a great career, and thanks for making a difference with this department. And certainly, I wish you and your family the very best. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Brian, the floor is yours.
We'll see how much the chief likes my personality after this, right? It's definitely
It is what it
cringy.
is.
He's
Well, I'm
definitely
not used to
cringy.
it yet.
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came out today. It's a big day. It's an important day. You know, the chief said a lot of nice things and a lot of big things about my career. But what wasn't said, and this is more so for my sons, is it took me 3 times to get hired here. It took me 3 times to get in detectives. But I persevered and I kept on going. So the message to them is, it's okay to fail. You just set your goal and you keep with it, and good things happen. You know, I had a storied career for 25 years and 8 months. You know, I started my career in corrections, as the chief said, when I first decided I wanted to be a police officer. You know, you don't really know what to do. I didn't have much guidance, but my grandfather, who was a retired NYPD lieutenant, he said, take this test and put down everything, because it's going to start your pension. And that's the most important thing. You'll be happy it starts your pension. The dummy I am, I stayed 8 months longer than I could have left, but it was probably some of the best advice that I ever had. You know, and I'd like to thank my mother for helping me out with that, because as we all know, we take the Bernstein course and you score high enough on the test, and you know, she actually funded that for me, so thank you, Mom. But most of all, like the chief was saying, family. I think the families are the true heroes. You know, we're out, we're doing our thing. A lot of times we're joking around, we're having fun. You know, it's serious times. It might be dangerous, it may not be dangerous. But your families are at home, your wives mainly, my bride, the best in the world, taking care of everything. We miss out on a lot. And I know Lieutenant Shriver picked up on this when he gave his speech 2 months ago, but we miss out on a lot. Maybe holidays, maybe sporting events or whatever it may be, but you have a solid partner there to fill that void, and I cannot thank her enough. I love you. But I'd like to thank everybody in the department, from the civilian staff, from everybody, to just for the memorable moments. I mean, it becomes family. You wind up spending holidays with these people. They're in your weddings. You go away. They watch your house. They watch your dog. But I just really highly recommend that you never have Mickey D do that. That's a story of another time now. But I really thank everybody for coming out, and I really appreciate everything. Thank you.
Congratulations. So a couple presentations of some of the traditions that we do here. I have your personnel order for your retirement. Personnel Order 2022-80 issued today. Subject retirement of Detective Brian Farrell, issued by Chief David Harkins. Effective November 1st, 2022, Detective Farrell will retire from the Gloucester Township Police Department after 25 years and 8 months of honorable service in law enforcement, with 24 years and 2 months as a Gloucester Township Police Officer. Detective Farrell was hired by the New Jersey Department of Corrections in March of 1997 as a corrections officer. He was hired as a Gloucester Township Police Officer on August 17, 1998. He served as a patrol officer, patrol shift investigator, D.A.R.E instructor in our schools. On February 1st, 2010, Detective Farrell was appointed as a member of the Crisis Negotiations Team. On September 1st, 2010, he was assigned as a detective in the Juvenile Family Services Bureau Juvenile Investigation Unit. During this appointment, he has been assigned to the Camden County Child Abduction Response Team, the FBI Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, and served as a temporary county investigator with the Camden County Prosecutor's Office High-Tech Crimes Unit. On January 4, 2021, he was transferred to the Investigations Bureau Criminal Investigations Unit. He is the recipient of the Gloucester Township Police Department Officer of the Year for 2021. I am very grateful for Detective Farrell's dedicated service to the Gloucester Township Police Department and to the community, and I know all of you will join me in wishing Brian a long and happy retirement. Congratulations, Detective. Give you this. Also, we're proud to present Brian with his retired police identification card. We also have his retired detective's badge and his ceremonial identification card here. And we'd also like to present Brian with his retirement plaque at this time. If you come over. Yeah. So this will conclude our ceremony for Brian, his retirement. We wish him the best. We know he'll still be around. Again, final closing, Pauline, Colin, Gavin, the whole Farrell family, thank you for what you've done for Brian and the support that he's received. And from the bottom of our heart, I know that you'll always be part of the Gloucester Township Police Department family. Look forward to being back, Brian, and wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Congratulations.
Thank you.